Welcome, everyone, to Locks of Lore. My name is Benny.
And I'm Tash.
This is Locks of Lore, where two hairstylists get real about the life behind the chair.
We are talking client drama, money talks, industry tea, and everything you'd normally only hear in the back room.
Whether you're a stylist or just love the beauty world, welcome to the group chat. Welcome to the third episode of Locks of Lore. My name is Benny.
My name is Tash. I am the boxes of Moody Blue that you've saved express toner that are not expired, they're discontinued, but you bought all the stores out of them to have like 100 boxes of Moody Blue Express toners forever. That's who I am
I
today.
think that's called insider trading when you know that there's like something being discontinued, so you buy it all out before everybody else gets a chance to. Didn't
Is
Martha
that what
Stewart go
it's
to jail
called?
for that? Yeah, basically.
Who went to jail for that?
Martha Stewart. I'm loosely like relating it to the stock exchange. It's like when you know
I thought
something's
she went
gonna
to jail for, like, tax fraud, like
no, it was insider trading. It's when you know something's gonna happen, so you buy a bunch of stock or sell a bunch of stock knowing something's coming in the future
great,
that
so
you
I'm going to
shouldn't know
jail, I
about.
just admitted. I just
Yeah.
admitted something.
You better bring a couple of tubes of blue with you.
Oh god, I'm gonna be blue forever.
Oh, yeah. Your hair is looking really good, though. You're a great shade of blue now.
Thank you, I switched it up a little bit, everybody.
Okay, so I am the 1 tube of enchanted pink that you're holding on for the client that you like the most, and this
Ah.
is asking for it, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any more," but, like, IRL, I've got 1 tube left.
It's not actually discontinued though, right? It's just
It's not.
on back
It's
order forever?
just hardcore back order.
There must be, like, an ingredient that they can't, track down or something to
How does that work? Like, how is it that, like, one little bit of an ingredient in a color is gone, but, like, all the other pinks are fine?
I know, it is a weird, weird mystery because we haven't had enchanted pink in a good year and a half, I'm gonna say. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know, I had a bunch, and now I'm finding it hard to get, so I've stockpiled a little bit.
I think it's been a really long time. I'm gonna say close to a year and a half.
That's wild. They should just re-release a different color.
Yeah, they probably should.
They
At least
probably
we
should.
have, like, backup formulas now to sorta create the same type of tone, but, not the same as just having your straight up enchanted pink out of a tube, you know?
Yeah, so
Such a
much
nice color.
easier. Such
Yeah,
a
it
nice
is.
color, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's underused. People need to use more of the everlasting
The
vivids.
everlastings.
Yeah,
I know. A lot
yeah,
of times when I'm teaching classes, people are either not aware of them or they're aware of them, but they're too scared to use them.
fair, fair. For
Which but
everybody
to
here that doesn't have Pravana, we, work with that company, and they have Vivids, which is what they're known for, but Vivids Everlasting is a permanent version of Vivids, so you mix them with Developer, you can mix them with other colors, you can use them as toners, which we're not supposed to say, but I do anyways. A fucking
yeah,
awesome
so for
color.
me, like, this is how I'll create, like, permanent denim blues or permanent really dusty
Yeah.
pinks, or magentas, stuff like that, and they're gorgeous
Yeah.
and fun because they're permanent, so they can be
Yeah.
intermixed with the entire Chromasilk line.
I use them on people that don't have the Vivids budget. They don't wanna be using 7 tubes of color, 8 tubes of color. So I will
Mhm.
use 1 tube of a Mystic Magenta or whatever other Vivids and
Yeah.
do it on wet hair so that I just fucking, like, spread that shit across.
Right, that's a good way to look at it.
Yep, that's how I tell people when they're, like, into Vivids, but they're like, "Oh, it's just so expensive, I gotta use so much." I was like, "Just use Vivids Everlasting." It's,
Mhm.
so much more economical for both the stylist and the client,
Yeah.
for
Yeah, and
realsies.
you'll possibly get longer longevity too, right? Because it is a
100%.
permanent.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
even do a double process and put Vivids on top.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Doing, like, an overlay, that's my favorite
Oh,
thing to
you love an
do all
overlay.
the
I think
time.
if I was to look at your driver's license, it would say Tash Potatoes Overlay on there right
Yeah,
now.
that's my
Yeah.
middle name.
Slash
Yep.
Emulsify Blue.
I was just gonna say, overlay emulsify. That's what you can call
That's who
me.
you are. Your middle name is Overlay, last name Emulsify.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
yeah. I wonder
Yeah.
what yours would be.
That's a really good question. What would mine be? Probably 10 vol.
Yeah.
I go through, like,
True.
10 to 1 10 vols.
Yeah, tried and true 10 vol. Benny
Yeah.
tried and true 10 vol.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna rename it the Benny Vol. and you'll understand exactly that that's a
Yeah.
10. Yeah. So, today we have a fun episode for you. We are going back in time, and I'm so excited. We're gonna talk about how we both started our careers in hair.
So what's interesting is when Benny and I were trying to decide what we wanted to talk about at the next episode, Benny was like, "Well, let's talk about being assistants." And I was like, "Okay, except I never was an assistant." And Benny's
Absolutely
reaction
crazy.
Yeah, Benny was like,
Absolutely wild.
"What?" And so I was like, I don't really think I have much to talk about if we're gonna make an episode about it." But then we started realizing, wait a minute, we have so much to talk about because we both have extreme opposite beginnings.
Yeah. Yeah, like, complete opposite. I find it really crazy that somebody got into the industry without being an assistant first, like, it's like you skipped a bunch of steps and went right to, like, the Super Bowl.
I think that so I was trying to think about that, and back when I started, and we both would have started around the same time because 'cause we're similar ages too, we've both
Mhm.
been how many years have you been doing hair?
23 years.
Yeah, okay, I'm 18 years.
Yeah.
I think that because you're from such a bigger center, there maybe
Mm.
was more of that happening because when I first started doing hair, it wasn't really a thing where I'm from to be an
Assistants?
assistant. No.
Really?
It just wasn't, at least I hadn't heard of it, but I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, so it's quite a like, compared to Toronto, it's a small town,
It's
and
definitely
I just
different.
don't think that that really had hit this town yet, or
Yeah.
smaller towns in general. There wasn't really such a thing as being an assistant.
So, here, how it kinda works, I didn't go to hair school first. I, started off as an assistant when I was 13, and
Oh.
I when I graduated hair high school, I had already been assisting for, like, 3 years or something like that, 2 years, something, I don't know, math. I guess 3 years at this point, and then I signed up to be an apprentice so that I could get my hairstyling license, and in order to be an apprentice, you need, like, I think it's 200 hours of assisting. So, like, you have to be an assistant in order to get them to, like, sign off. So you basically go to a salon, you're like, "Hey, I wanna be your assistant. Here's my, like, book from the government," and then the owner of the salon agrees to be your mentor, and then they have, like, criteria where they have to sign off on each thing that they've taught you before you go to school or while you're in school still.
So you have to do that?
You have to do that. In order to be an
Oh,
apprentice, if you
wow.
just go straight to, like, a big box hair school like Marvell or, like, I don't know, one of the other, like, Aveda, one of the other institutes, then you obviously don't you skip that, you go straight into being on the floor. But if you're gonna be an apprentice, which a lot of us do here, or you do it through the Ontario government, to get your red seal, you have to start off as an assistant for, like, a certain number of years. Like, I was an assistant for 6 years before I got on the floor.
So wild. That did not exist here, and that's still not the way that it is here. You don't have to do
Really?
that at all. Yeah.
So how do you get your license out there? Do you just go to school, or is there, like, a government program out there for you?
You go to school. So, like, for me, I had just graduated, well, I took a year off after high school, and then I decided to go into hair school. It was, like, works out to be about a year program. I think it's, like, 10 months-ish.
Mhm.
It's a matter of hours plus having all your, this many perms, this many colors, this many cuts. You get them all,
Ugh,
like, stamped
perms.
off. Yeah.
Gross.
And, then you graduate, and then you're just thrown into the world. Yeah, so that's it, you're just thrown into the world. So from then, I just I've had the experience of being in hair school for 10 months or whatever it was. You have to write a big exam at the end to prove that you know your
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and then you just get a job. And so I just got a job, and I was straight into doing hair.
That's crazy. By the time I went
Nowadays
to hair school, I'd already been assisting for, like, 5 years, 5 and a half, maybe
Yeah,
4 years.
that doesn't exist here, and if it does, I have not heard of that. See, the way that people will do, like, being an assistant now is you still go to hair school first,
Yep.
then if you wanna go that route, you can get, like, an assistant type of job, and there are certain salons that kind of cater to that here,
Mhm.
and then you can assist under somebody, but it's flipped because that's after you've already gone to hair school.
Yeah.
and then you assist for a certain amount of time depending on whatever that salon's, rules are or whatever. You have to be
Yeah.
an assistant for a year or whatever it is before you can go on the floor. But
So it's
no, for
not
me,
common in your area to have assistants at all the salons?
no, it's not at all the salons. If you wanna have an assistant, I mean, you can if you're a chair renter or if you're a salon and that's the way that you run your business, but
Mhm.
it's not a lot of salons like, my salon doesn't have that, and I'm a salon owner.
Yeah.
So, you just I mean, though, that being said, my salon is more sort of like advanced, either chair renters or stylists.
Yeah.
Maybe if we did bring on newer newer stylists, like, that'd be a thing maybe we would consider, but at the same time, like, I have
Like, would the
considered it.
new
I have
stylist be an assistant, or would you hire the new stylist and then an assistant on top of that?
No, I'd probably use the new stylist as an assistant, but I did try that once with somebody that I hired, and it bombed. They did not do a
No?
great job. No,
What
so
happened?
oh, they just sat there and crocheted all the time.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so that ended quickly.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's wild. I mean, looking back, I definitely was just thrown into it not knowing anything. Like, I remember being scared shitless because,
Yeah.
you what do you learn in hair school? Not much, right? Like, just the basics, and then you just get thrown into a salon and thrown whatever gets booked with you.
Yeah.
So, I just had you fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah. I think it was really awesome being an assistant, like, starting off for me because there's no pressure. You just learn, like, somebody else is doing all your formulations, you just apply. You get to kinda, like, see how they formulate, you learn the type of clientele they have. Like, when I first started, I worked at a mall in Markham, like, where I grew up, and it basically everybody had the exact same hair. It was like 6N with like a level 9 gold highlight. Like it was like 99.9 of the clientele, and they all had Persian hair. So all they wanted was for it to be like poker straight, blown out with a flat iron type
Mm.
afterwards. And so I got super good at doing a really fast blow dry and a really quick color application. So by the time I got to hair school, it was just more so about learning the technicality behind how to formulate as opposed to like application and, how to blow dry. It was like, "Oh, okay, now I know why I was doing those things as an assistant," but it was kinda like takes the pressure off of you to learn because you're just like, "Oh, you formulated. I don't really need to know what the formula is." Like, I can find out, but you had done all the thinking. I'm just doing the, like, physical part,
'Kay, so
and
wait a
then
minute. You, as an assistant, before you've even gone to hair school, you're able to apply color?
yeah, you're doing all the
Oh, that's
shampoos, you're
illegal
doing
here.
Really?
It's illegal here. Yeah, that's illegal. Like, you would
So,
get in a
here
lot of trouble.
you have to be if you are unregistered, if you're an unregistered apprentice, you can't touch a person, like, you can't even wash hair, but if you're a registered apprentice, as an assistant, you can do blow dries, like, you can't I don't think you can cut, but I think you can do color applications, toners, shampoo, and blow dry.
That's so
Yeah.
wild. It's crazy how we're in the same country, but it's so different.
Mhm, yet, we still have the same criteria for a red seal, which is
Yeah.
all over.
Yeah, there is like a standardized exam, basically, like, for us, it's called our journey persons, right, or a red
Yeah,
seal,
same.
and then
Yeah.
you can work, like, interprovincial, and we
Mhm.
both have that, right? So we would have
Yeah.
both written that same exam, and it's like a practical and a written, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we both have that, but that's wild. I can't see if you got caught doing that here, you would be possibly shut down?
Oh, whoa. Yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
pretty serious here too, like, if you're unregistered and you start and you just, like, go on the floor, they can definitely I don't think it's, like, get shut down, I'm pretty sure it's, like, a $10,000 fine, and
Ooh,
then
that could
after
shut you
that,
down.
that could shut you down, yeah, and then if they caught you more than once, then they revoke your business license.
Wild.
Yeah. That
So
number
and
could
I
be wrong,
think
though, I think I made that up.
yeah, but, like, I think the reasoning behind it for here or what I've heard is because you're working with chemical. So, like, until you've done all your exams or, like, proven that you have that information to be working
Mhm.
with chemical. They just won't like, here, they just look at it as that's not allowed, I guess.
I think maybe the loophole here is that the assistant isn't doing the formulation or the mixing. They're
Right.
just
It's
doing the
still your
application. So, like, if the color wasn't proper or, like, if it was mixed incorrectly, then I guess they could be at more of a fault, but I think here it's just, like, it's just the manual labor portion that they don't really care about. Maybe the
yeah.
formulation they're more I don't know, we could get more information on that and come back to it later because that's really interesting that
It's
they're
super
just so
interesting. I
different.
Yeah, we've never even really talked about that before to this extent.
No.
So when you like, how did you know or is someone like, "Okay, you're now ready to, like, go into the world and do hair," or do you decide that on your own? Like, on your own, or how does that
It's a
work?
combination. So, when I first started, I guess I was definitely, like, not a registered apprentice because I was 13 years old. So, obviously,
A baby?
I was a
Still
baby.
a fetus?
Yeah, actually fetus. Because I actually lied to them and told them I was 14 because you have to be 14 to be able to start working, and I was
Okay.
13 years old
Troublemaker.
since day 1.
Just didn't
But
wanna be
yeah.
a kid, just wanted to be a grown-up?
Well, I remembered that, like, I didn't get an allowance that I was happy with, and I was like, "Fuck this, I'm gonna get a job." And I actually didn't know I was gonna do hair. I brought my resume to, like, a place called Jean Machine. I don't know if you have that where you are. It's
No?
just, like, a store that sells, like, nice denim. And I gave them my
Okay.
resume, and I remembered the girl was like, "Okay, we'll give you a call." And I immediately was like, "You are not gonna give me a call. Like, this is the last time that we're ever speaking." And so I walk out. I remembered I took my resume back because I was like, "You're not calling me." So I took back my resume and I 13-year-old Benny, walk out of that store, and it was in a mall, and I remember looking across the aisle, and on the direct opposite side of that store was a salon that my mom had worked at. It's like a chain of salons, like a pretty big chain, and my mother was
Yeah.
in a receptionist at that chain when I was, like, a kid, like, super young, and so I was like, "Oh, this could be
Mhm.
fun." Walked in, the owner literally, like, didn't even read the resume, just, like, held it, looked at my name, asked me a couple questions, and was like, "Cool, you start tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, okay, awesome." I remembered, like,
Whoa.
yeah, day 1, I soaked everybody in the salon because you don't know how to hold the hose yet, right? So I'm like I remember I, like,
No.
got water everywhere multiple times, and I do remember the boss being like, "If you can't hold on to the hose, like, we can't keep you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll pay attention to that." Yeah. But, like, basically,
Uh,
my job in the beginning was to just shampoo, sorry, everybody's hair. I was not allowed to do anything besides shampooing hair and, like, sweeping and going to pick up coffee was, like,
mm,
90% of my job. And then I worked there for a few months, and then I remembered another salon that was owned by the same people, but on the other end of the mall. And the
yeah,
owner of that place was basically like, "I'm gonna take you under my wing." I was the assistant for the whole salon, but I was like 90% his assistant. And so I
yeah.
would do like all of his root colors. He showed me right away. He's like, "You're doing all my blow dries, you're doing all my root covers, all my toners." I still went and, like, got coffee and, like, lunch for everybody and, like, swept up and cleaned, but I mostly
All
was
the bitch work.
there all the bitch work, but it was great because I feel like it really taught me how to hustle. It taught me how to, like,
Mhm.
maybe do a little bit of time management, you know, because I'd be like, "Oh my god, I know his next client is gonna be here in half an hour and this color is also gonna be processed in half an hour. So, like, I have to finish her super fast so that I can help him with that client." Like, it helped me kinda, like, space that out, but it was also an interesting way for me to be like, "Do I even like this industry? Do I
Mhm. That's
want
really
to
cool.
go to hair school? Do I want to take it further?" And being obviously, like, I don't wanna say it's a small town, but it's not downtown, um, I didn't really get a chance to know what the industry was like yet, and then I left there and went to another salon down in Yorkville, which is, like, our expensive area, like, where, like, Gucci and, like, Louis is and all that stuff, and I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna go work
Yeah.
with rich people because I wanna see, like, what is going on in those salons." Oh my god, game changer. Like, I remembered I must have gone to, like, 10 salons, but I went to this one place that was, like, the last one. I didn't even know it was there. I just saw a sign. It was up on the 4th floor. walked in and gave my resume, and at the time, I was platinum blonde, and somebody had, like, low-key fucked up my hair, so there was, like, some, like, short bits or whatever. So I remembered I went to the salon, and I got really lucky because that owner of the salon was a national educator for a hair brand that I ended up working for. It was for Paul Mitchell.
Oh.
And she hired me, like, on the spot. Like, she was like, "Hey, I think you're gonna be a great assistant for us. Like, first of all, we have to fix your fucking hair." She gave me some shampoo and conditioner because my hair was jacked, and I was so grateful for her to do that. And then she basically made me her assistant, and it was one of the best experiences because I got to, like, go to hair shows with her. I got to assist her
Cool.
in classes. So, like, here I am, 18 years old. I'll never forget it. I was 18 years old. I'd only worked for her for, like, maybe 3 months or something like that, 3 or 4 months, and she was doing the ABAs, which I don't know if you have ABAs there. It's, like, our big hair
Yep.
show,
Yep.
and she was on
Yep.
stage, and I can't remember, like, someone didn't show up or something didn't happen, and she was like, "You, get that blow dryer, get on stage and start blow drying." And I was like, "Oh my god, what do you
Wow.
fucking mean?" And it, like, rocked my fucking socks off. I remembered being like, "Oh my god, this is what I want." Like, the energy of, like, being on stage is so different from being in the salon because things just happen so much faster, and when things go wrong on stage that would technically go wrong in the salon, you have to find a way to spin it and make it work still. Like, I remembered we had
Yep.
one model who didn't tell us that she had henna in her hair, and so here we are,
Oh, no.
like, trying to, like, lighten her hair, and it goes green. Like, it went,
Yep.
like, puke green, and I remembered it being at this moment where I'm, like, standing there, like, ripping off the foils or, like, I don't remember why I was on stage beside her, but I remember looking at it and, like, my boss gave me a look to be like, "Don't make that face. Like, don't look scared," as I'm like, like, "Why is it
Yeah.
green?" She's like, "We're gonna figure it out." She's like, and then I saw how to pivot on stage where she's like, "Listen, this is salon reality. Sometimes clients lie. We're gonna make this work, and we're gonna neutralize this with a red-based toner." And then I remember thinking like, "Oh my god, that is so brilliant." But if I was in the salon, I would have just, like, been like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess you're going home now. Like, I don't know how to fix that." But you don't have a choice when you're on stage. Like, you have to
Yeah.
fix that in front of everybody and talk through that process. So that was awesome. I'm so grateful for her taking me under her wing and, like, training me, showing me the ropes, taking me to hair shows. Such a great experience, and I got to meet Jean-Paul
That's really, really
DeJoria.
cool.
So, like, how fucking awesome is that?
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super rad. I love that. I think I would have benefited from that, experience being an apprentice or a helper or whatever you wanna call it. I
Yep.
think that's really cool.
Mhm. I
I
do think
think
it's really
that
important to do so, like, to at least see what that's like.
yeah. When you are in hair school here, is it like this over there? You have to do a certain amount of hours of working in a salon, quote, unquote. You're not actually like, you can assist, but you're not actually allowed to shampoo or blow dry or anything. It's more just, like, standing around and being in the environment and watching and asking questions and,
You have to do hair here.
like oh, you have to do hair here when you're in
Yeah.
hair school?
Yeah, so you have your
Yeah, so
200 hours and you have to like, you have to use those 200 hours in a salon, and then the boss has to give you, like, you get your little notebook with, like, "We're gonna do perms, we're gonna do hair cutting, we're gonna do highlights, we're gonna do shampoos," whatever, and you have to use those 200 hours to practice those skills.
interesting. Ours isn't like that. It's not as hardcore as that. It's just like you have this many hours, you have to go volunteer at a salon basically. Can't touch the hair, but and then the salon owner has to just like mark you and be like, "Were they did they ask questions? Did they dress appropriately? Did they this? Did they that?" It's like it's pretty chill honestly sounding like compared to what it is like for you over there.
Yeah, I would imagine it's a little harder to actually
What
have
you
to,
have
like,
to do.
yeah, to actually have to, like, work, especially because you haven't
Yeah.
really finished your schooling yet. Like, there's 2 chunks of schooling here. You can either do it, like, 1st and 2nd. I think how it works is, like, so I'm trying to remember because it was so long ago. If you do it while you still work, you go to school 2 days a week so that you can still work in a salon to get your hours. that is split up into 2. So there's like a beginner and then like an advanced part, and you have to accomplish both in order to write the test. But you can't do the first and second back to back. Like you have to do the first, go work, and then come back, I think at least 6 months later to do the second portion.
So are there only some salons that will take those,
Yeah,
like, kids in hair school, basically?
yeah,
Because yeah, okay. I feel
yeah.
like not all salons would want that. Do you know what I
It's a
mean? Because
lot
you
of
kinda have
work.
to babysit. Yeah, it's like you have to kinda babysit somebody, which is why it doesn't work for me because I'm not always there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm behind the chair a few days a week, but then I'm traveling or I'm educating or I'm working at the computer doing stuff for Pravana, and so for me, it's like I can't give someone my full self to be, like, training them or babysitting them, honestly, like, help what making sure that
I
they're
don't think it's, like, under one person in particular. There's one person who has to sign off that
right,
you accomplished certain things, but I remembered there were times where my boss wasn't there and I still was working. I was still assisting other stylists. I was still doing other things the salon needed, but when it came down to, like, the curriculum that they had to teach me, then, like, that boss had to be the one teaching it to me, or that person at least is responsible for saying that I learned it, you know? Like,
right.
if
Yeah,
somebody else taught me, then that person could still sign off on it, and I remembered there's, like, I don't know what the word for it, like somebody who's an officer or someone that's like in charge of monitoring your profile. And they would come
yeah.
into the salon and like get your book and sit down with you and the owner to go over how the progress is going and like talk about what you're learning.
Mm.
I remember that. I don't really remember much about talking to that person, but I remembered having to sit down with her and my boss and go over like that.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So that's someone's job too, is to just go around and kinda, like, interview these people that are trying to go through hair school and
Yeah.
sorta, like, break apart what they've been doing and if
Mhm.
they're doing things correctly or not.
I'm pretty
Huh.
sure there's a list of salons that are like, open to taking these assistants and these apprentices because I remembered
Yeah.
I had already had a salon placement at that point, but there were other people that didn't have salon placements, and the school would send them a list of salons that are always looking for apprentices because honestly, it's ideal for the salon. Like, they're unpaid assistants. Like, you don't have
Mhm.
to pay
Yeah.
them, and they do have to work. So it's like you get yeah, it's extra work, you have to, like, sign off and teach them, but you basically get free labor for, like, a year, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty
That's
sure
true.
as a salon owner, you get to access certain grants and, like, free money from the government for being a part of that program.
Right, for bringing in students.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fuck, I should do that now.
This
I
makes
need to
me
I should be listening to this right
Yeah,
now,
you
like,
write that down.
When you started, and you just kinda, like, went right on the floor because you went to an Aveda school, right?
I went to it was called Marca at the time, it's now
Oh,
called MC
Marca.
College.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went there for hair school, and then I just went out there putting my resumes out to different salons, and I ended up getting a job. Actually, it's funny, I ended up getting a job at, like, an Ultra Cuts, which is like do you have Ultra Cuts out there?
Is that like a
It's like
mega cuts or
a
like a super cut, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a job at a place like that after handing out my resume to so many places, and I was really bummed, and I really didn't wanna work at the Ultra Cuts because I wanted to work at, like, a cool, like,
Mhm.
funky kind of place, and it just wasn't really my vibe, but I couldn't get a job anywhere else, so they hired me, and I had to go in and like, they were like, "Okay, we want you to do a perm wrap," and I forget what else they wanted me to do, like a haircut or something to prove that I knew my stuff. So I did that, and then they were like, "Okay, you're hired. You start on Monday," or whatever it was. The day before my first day at work, I got a call from a salon, and they were like, "Hey, we're interested in chatting with you. We like your resume and whatever. Do you wanna come in and chat?" And I was like, "Okay, let me just call Ultra Cuts," and I called Ultra Cuts that the morning of the first day of my job, and I was like, "I'm not coming in." And I just took a chance because I wanted to work at this other salon, and I didn't necessarily wanna work at Ultra Cuts. So then same thing, I went to this other salon, did an interview, and then I had to, again, I did, like, a cut and color and whatever, they looked through my work, and
So
then I
you
got
hadn't even, like,
hired.
officially gotten the job? You would just
No. No, I was just like, "I'm just gonna take this chance and tell you I'm not showing up." I was, like, really not into this job that I was offered. What was your question? I don't even remember what your question was.
I also don't remember what my question
Well,
I was
hopefully
gonna
that
ask
answered
you
your
when
question.
you Yeah, exactly. I was gonna ask you because I thought that you went to an Aveda school, but now I realize you didn't. So, I was just asking if you had to be
Right.
retrained at this salon in order to work there.
So so then I got the job at this salon, and they were an Aveda salon, so then they sent me to, like, Aveda classes.
Okay,
So
that
then
makes sense.
I yeah, took a bunch of Aveda classes in order to be familiar enough to work with their color.
Does
And
Aveda do
then
cutting classes too, or is it just color?
at that I don't know about now, but at that time, all I was taking was color.
Yeah,
Color and product knowledge, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I then, got, like, a little bit of Aveda training, and then I worked at this Aveda salon for 8 years.
Apparently, it's really hard to get Aveda products in Toronto now.
Is
Like
it? I think
yeah.
it's, like, they're pretty prestigious, and I remember at the time, I don't know if it's like this anymore, but an Aveda salon couldn't be within a certain distance of another Aveda salon, and
Mhm.
it was like a certain amount of meters or something like that. They can't be apart.
Yeah.
They have to be apart. Yeah.
I don't know if right now it's mostly about, like, their branding and marketing. I just know, like, actual ordering and receiving is next to impossible. Like, I know 2 or 3 salons that have just stopped carrying it because they just stopped receiving their orders.
Oh, wild.
Rude.
I wonder what's happening with that. But yeah, I mean, I remember you couldn't just walk into a distributor and get Aveda. It had to be
Yeah.
shipped to you, right? Whereas,
Yeah.
here we just have distributors and you can get pretty much whatever you want depending on what distributor you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know what's happening with Aveda. Maybe someone can answer that for us, how it is now
I'm sure someone
or
will
what's
hop
happening
on and
now.
send us a little quick email. Watch Aveda sends us an email like,
Yeah.
"Hey, cease and desist. Stop talking about us."
I loved Aveda, I really did, so don't say that. I'm not bashing Aveda at all. I loved Aveda. Their products and their color was gorgeous, and I
Mhm.
I think we touched on this before. It did teach me a lot about formulating and working with color because you drop, like, pure pigment into whatever level N you're using, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'd love to get a
and
little
it was
crash
cool.
course on that. I feel like it'd be fun.
It was a cool line, and then it was quite challenging when I left that salon and decided to learn a new color line. I started using Davines,
Okay.
and, I mean, they're, like, similar in the sense that they're very, like, earthy kind of
Yep.
lines, a little bit more of, like, a hippie sort of vibe, but, Davines, I struggled really getting ashy enough colors with,
Yeah.
and after Davines was when I found Pravana.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I've been using Pravana for 10 something years now. So, yeah, that's when I
You're
found
an
Pravana, and
OG.
I haven't turned back. I haven't
Yeah.
gone back.
I used Paul Mitchell because that was that salon that I told you that the girl was an educator and she brought me everywhere. So I got like super into the whole culture, loved their culture. I still love their culture. I think it's a great brand, very honest, very like true to the stylist. And then I remembered I was at the store one day picking up color and there was a Schwarzkopf educator there. And I had this one client that I just couldn't get her cool enough. Like it just wasn't right. And then I
Yeah.
remember the Schwarzkopf educator was like, "Oh, why don't you try this one tube of color? It's a green-based ash." And I'm pretty sure Paul Mitchell has a green-based ash. I just maybe I didn't know how to use it properly, or maybe I guess I had to because Catherine
Mhm.
obviously taught it to me. Anyways, I remembered using this one tube of color and I was like, okay, cool, I'll switch now. And then I switched everything to Schwarzkopf for like many, many, many years. And then I used them like basically straight up until I got this job with Pravana. And I wasn't really using Schwarzkopf and Pravana at the same time. Like I was just mostly using Schwarzkopf. And then I had these two clients, I'll never forget this, these two clients and couldn't get gray coverage. Like to save my life used double pigmented
Mm.
color. I tried 30 volume. I called the same educator. I tried everything. I was using everything that they were telling me to use. It would process for like, it felt like 2 hours. And I still had to put another color on top each and every time. And it was just getting super frustrating. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm already having a hard time getting gray coverage. So let's just try Pravana because Like, what's the worst that can happen? I have to color it twice. I have to do that anyways. So, I remembered I
Yeah.
used 50% of a natural color and 50% pearl, which is not a great coverage color at all, but I was feeling particularly ballsy, and to this day, I haven't veered
Mm.
from that formula by a single gram. It is the most perfect, beautiful champagne blonde, 100% coverage, and I was like, "Wow, this doesn't just, like, cover gray, it actually looked flattering on her skin," and I can, like it opened up my avenues of gray coverage because I wasn't just bottlenecked into a gold or a natural. I was like, "Oh, I can, like,
Right.
actually mix other colors with it," and she had 100% gray, and her friend also had 100% gray, switched her to, like, the NT. Honestly, it looks so good on their skin, and literally that day, I packed all of my Schwarzkopf stuff up in a box, and I haven't touched a single tube of it
It's just
since.
collecting dust now.
Yeah, I should give it away to somebody who still
Wild.
uses it. I will say there's one
Wild.
product that they have that I really enjoyed. They have, like, a
Mhm.
blue ash corrector that you can add to your bleach. Remember that time I told you the girl's hair went blue?
Right, you've told me. Yeah.
It's because I used this product incorrectly, like, you're supposed to put, like, a pea size of it in with your lightener, and
Yeah, and you used, like, half a bottle?
legit cuts out any warmth, and I did not know that. I used way more than I should. So that I do kinda miss, and I would love for PRV to come out with something like that. So yeah, that's how I found Pravana.
For me so it was interesting because when I first found Pravana too, they were just independently owned, hey? It wasn't,
Yeah,
they weren't owned by Henkel yet.
yeah.
And so
No Daddy Henkel.
I no Daddy Henkel at all, there was no daddy really. Well, his name was Steven, and,
Steven, yeah, yeah.
Steve Goddard. I kind of was headhunted in a sense by the educator. So I knew I wanted to try Pravana when I started chair renting because I was always really into the outside the box kind of different colors and I love
Mhm.
doing like semi-permanent stuff and
Yep.
like fun, more bold colors, and there wasn't really that many options that I was loving here, and so I wanted to try Pravana. I finally found the closest place that offered it was Manitoba, so if I tried to drive there, it was like an 8-hour drive to get my
Holy.
product. So, I started getting Pravana shipped to me, and so I was using it and trying to post my work, and then the, distributors in Manitoba asked me if I was interested in educating for them, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, like, yeah, I'm totally interested," and they were like, "Okay, well, there's training happening in 2 weeks. Do you wanna go to LA for training?" And I was like, yep, see you there."
Definitely
So,
want to do that, yep.
I went to training, and I was the only Canadian. It was all Americans and me, the only Canadian there representing
Whoa.
Canada, and, yeah, so I trained I mean, in that class, there was Presley Poe, Jordan, who does, like, pinup Jordans, Mermaid Lounge,
Mhm.
influencer who was an influencer for Pulp Riot, oh, who else? There was so many stylists in my class that are now, like, famous or big names
Yeah,
or whatever, so
yeah.
that was kind of interesting. But, yeah, so I educated for Pravana for 3 or 4 years or whatever it was before Henkel ended up buying them out, and I remember that was so crazy, like, so every year we would go to training in LA. It was very different than how it works now with working for Henkel and
Yeah.
being on the team that we have now. It was, like, pretty bare bones when it came to I think because there I was literally me representing Canada, so there was, like,
Mhm.
not much given to me. It was the concentration was more on the American team, and
Yeah,
I would just go back to Canada and sort of, like, spread whatever knowledge. Eventually, other Canadians ended up joining onto that team, but it was
yeah.
really small. But we wouldn't really do much once we came back to Canada. It was like, "Here you go, you have this information, see you next year," and that was kind of it.
Did you have a lot of
Um,
classes and stuff while you were here?
Not really.
No?
There wasn't much. No, not
And I
really.
guess, like,
I
no
think,
hair shows,
like,
right?
for no hair shows, and because the closest distributor was 8 hours away from where I lived, most people didn't use Pravana at all, so, like, sure, I'm educating for Pravana, but who's else is using it around here? Like, I was
Yeah.
kinda the only one.
Yeah, own the gay Eskimo.
So so then I remember when they announced it at, like, one of our big trainings, and everybody was kind of freaking out, like, that it had been purchased and there's gonna be some changes happening, and a lot of people left because they were afraid of that change, and they were afraid of, like, a big corporation taking over, and I was like, "Well, what, like, I'm just gonna hang out and see what happens," so I kept using Pravana, but
Mhm.
we didn't know that all the educators' names got lost in Canada, so, like, they had kept all the American educators, and all of that information got passed on to Henkel, but not any of the Canadian educators because we were separate. We were hired by our distributor, not by Pravana.
Oh.
So we all just got, like, lost in the abyss. So then we didn't hear anything for, like, I don't know how long it was, but for a long time we didn't hear anything. And I was like, "Am I an educator? Like, I think I'm an educator, but,
Yeah, question mark?
like, I don't know what's happening. I haven't heard anything." And then someone contacted me whose name was Manal,
Oh, yeah.
and
We
she
love
was like,
Manal.
"Hi." She was like, "Hi, there's, I work for Pravana, and there's, or Henkel, I think she said, and there is a Pravana event happening at ESP, our distributor out here." So, first of all, I was like, "What? Why wasn't I invited? I'm literally the educator. Like, how come I didn't hear about this?" Right? And I was kinda pissed.
Rude.
Like, yeah, I was like, "That's rude. I've been working for you for how long, and nobody's even gonna tell me?" But they didn't have my any of my information, and I
So how
think
did
someone at
Manal find you?
ESP, because so they ran out of developer. ESP had no developer, and they were doing this event, and so I think they asked the workers at ESP if anyone carries Pravana, because Pravana was just launching at ESP, so it was the first time we were gonna have Pravana in Saskatchewan, like, at all.
Oh, best.
And so ESP was like, "Oh, Tash, like, this girl uses Pravana, contact her." So Manal, out of the blue, I got this message from this person, and she's like, "Hi, do you have developer? Like, I need to come buy it off you." And I was like, "I'm not selling, like, who are you? I'm not selling
Yeah,
you developer. Like, that's not a
yeah,
thing." And she was like, "Can I just come talk to you? Like, where are you? Are you at work?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm at a salon. You can come talk to me." But, like, this is the weirdest, like, I don't just sell developer out of the back to
yeah.
a random stranger,
Just
right?
open your
And
trunk
she
and it's just
comes
bottles of develop
like I'm a developer dealer?
100%.
Yeah, and I remember she, like, walked into the salon, and Manal's very, like, she had, like, a full whatever outfit on, like, she
Oh,
always
yeah.
just looks so gorgeous, and I remember she just, like, looked me up and down, and I was like, "What is who are you? Like, what is going on?" And she just asked me, like, 20 questions, and then she was like, "Okay, I think we found her, like, I think we found our girl," kinda thing. So she bought whatever developer off of me,
So you did
and then
sell
she
her
was like, "We'll be in
developer.
touch." I did sell her the developer
Yeah,
once I checked her out, and
yeah.
I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Yeah, we'll be in touch," kinda thing, and then sure enough, I heard from her again, and then I also heard from Megan, who
Yeah,
I didn't know who Megan was at the time, but she's like our manager, and then they were like, I had to go through the same interviews as everybody else
yeah,
does to be a part of the team again, which I remember being like, "I'm not doing an interview, like, I've been doing this for how many years, I'm pissed," right? But, like,
yeah. Here
I
you are.
totally get it. Nobody, yeah.
They don't
But,
know you.
yeah, so then yeah, they don't know me and I don't know them, so that's part of the job. And so, like, long story short, then I was, I think, one of the first, like, members of the Henkel Canada Pravana
Yeah.
team here. And it's been however many years since Henkel bought them out now. That was, like, right before COVID, wasn't it? The year before COVID?
I think they launched in 2020, in Ontario at least, because I remember they launched
Yeah,
in February and then shut down. So, like, the launch kinda, like, didn't really do very much
yeah.
because nobody was
Well,
working.
that would make sense. I think it was, like, probably about the same timing here then,
Yeah.
'cause I remember it was, like, just happening, and then everything got shut down again, and,
Mhm. That was a
yeah,
fucking
so
what
wild.
a trip. So how I started working with this brand is I was just in the salon and I was thinking about getting back into education, and they had asked me, my distributor, if I wanted to work for Color Wow, and they'd asked me for a few months, and I just kinda, like, never got around to it, and, like, never sent the resume out, never whatever. And then I sent out the resume, they called me right away, I went for one interview, they're like, "Great, we love it, you're hired." And that was on a Thursday, and we locked down on the Monday. So,
No way!
yeah, so I got the job, and I was, like, super excited, and then the next day I got to work, and my mom was like, "Pack your stuff up. They're closing everything down. Like, make sure you're prepared to go home." And I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" Went home, and then, of course, the Monday, I get an email from our distributor like, "Hey, so we're temporarily laying everybody off." There's
Oh my
obviously no and I
god!
was like, "Great, that was the best job ever.
Great
I'm
job.
so glad I
Yeah.
had that job for 72 hours."
Yeah.
And obviously, like, went right into lockdown mode, was whatever. And then the distributor was talking to, I guess, the store, and they were looking for Pravana, and Manal came to the store and was asking questions and asking questions. They're like, "Oh, we had
Mm.
this guy. He was supposed to work for Color Wow, but obviously that didn't work out. You should give him a call." And it just so happened to turn out that I went into the store, like, maybe half an hour after Manel had left. Like, she was there in the morning, and then I was there right
No
afterwards.
way.
And so they gave
Yeah.
me the number, like, "She just left, you have to call her." And I just called her, like, in the car. Like, I didn't even wait. I called her right away. And I still had to go through the interviews, but Megan was like, "You're hired. We still have to interview you, but you're hired." I was like,
Yeah.
"Great, cool. Love that for us." And here we
That's
are,
funny that it happened. Yeah, that's funny that for both of us, it was Manal, like, wandering in.
100%. I love Manal.
Yeah, she has good energy.
She's got great
She is
energy
so
and a
funny.
beautiful head of hair. She's like our
Yes.
Princess Jasmine.
Isn't that crazy that if, like, if I didn't get hired on or you didn't get hired on or both of us didn't get hired on, none of all of this would have happened? Like, it's
I
so weird to
know.
think about what things could have been. Like, what if you ended up working for Color Wow instead? Would we have ever met? Would we have ever become besties? Who
I
would
don't
be my
know.
bestie?
This
Like,
podcast would suck.
this podcast would suck. We'd be talking to ourselves.
Yeah,
We wouldn't
separately.
have another friend to talk to
I would have no friends.
separately.
0 friends.
Me neither.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I love that. I'm so happy that I started working with you guys
Oh man, it's the funnest job on the universe.
just to go along to the nice restaurants that they cart
Yeah,
us
Megan
around to
takes us
afterwards.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they cart us around too, it's like
Yeah,
torture.
it's
Yeah,
torture. I
yeah,
decided that when I win the
we're
lottery I'm just
so
saying when at
spoiled.
this point because I'm just gonna manifest that I'm gonna hire our
Yeah,
manager as a full-time restaurant picker, so I never have to pick a restaurant or read a menu again. She just calls
yeah.
ahead, orders everything that she knows that we'll love, and then all I do is just sit down, eat, and, like, my credit card's on file.
So basically you're gonna hire Megan
Yeah, full-time.
'cause that's what she does for us, yeah.
Yeah, full-time. Full-time.
It's like, I mean, when Benny and I had a shoot in LA, this October or something, and normally we have Megan with us traveling, and she just, like, chooses the restaurant, always picks the best one, takes us to a restaurant, just orders all the food, feeds us with a spoon, like, just,
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
100% trust her, and on
Passenger
this trip, Megan
princess.
yeah,
Yeah.
on this trip, Megan wasn't there for this part. Benny and I were like, "Okay, let's go out for dinner." Couldn't pick a restaurant, so we
No,
settled on, like, frickin'
the
Thomas
Olive
the Cook
Garden.
or something.
It was Olive
The
Garden.
Olive Garden. Get there, we had no idea what to order. We both just had to order whatever had a picture on the menu
Yep.
because we couldn't even read the menu because we didn't
We were
have
so
Megan with us.
tired. We were also
We were
exhausted.
yeah, and we didn't have, like, our mom to help
Yeah.
us, like, we're just helpless.
But high key, my fucking trio pasta was fire. It was
Was
so
it?
good. Well, because it had a little piece like, it had a lasagna, which we all know, like, I fucks with
Yeah.
lasagna hard. There was an Alfredo. I don't even remember what the 3rd pasta was, but it slapped so hard. Also, it was funny because here's Tash and I sitting in this family restaurant, and the server comes over, and she's like, "Oh, where's the rest of your family?" Or something like that, and we're like, "Oh,
Where are your kids?
we left them in the
Yeah.
car."
They thought we were married.
And then our kids were just chilling in the car while we had a nice like a family meal.
Yeah, we're
I'll
on a
bring them
date
back a
night. Yeah, we're
we'll
on a
bring them
date
back some
night.
takeout. They can have some of the unlimited,
Yeah.
breadsticks and salad. Yeah.
Poor
Good times.
kids.
Poor kids.
Yeah, that was a good time. I can't say I've ever left my kids in the car while I go into a restaurant or a
Yeah,
bar.
I would hope not.
Yeah, I think that it used to happen to our parents' generation. I know that it's happened to one or both of my parents before, but
Where they left you in the car
but,
when they went to the Olive Garden?
No, well, they were left in the car, like, as babies.
Oh, that was the wild, wild
Like,
west back
their,
then.
like,
You could even
baby
smoke in
selves.
cars with kids at
Yeah,
that point.
exactly, it was Wild Wild West. No seat belts, nobody had a seat belt,
No.
nobody everyone's just chain smoked in the car with the windows up. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those days.
Different times then.
Different
Yeah.
times.
That wraps up today's episode of Locks of Lore. If this conversation hit close to home, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a stylist who needs to hear it.
You can find us on social media at Benny_and the Jets.
And at tashpotatoes_hair.
If you've got a story, question, or salon situation you want us to break down, send it our way, anonymously always, at locksoflorepodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time, know your worth,
Protect your energy.
and we'll see you behind the chair.